Welcome. Tarot for July 4th Eve. Hey, might as well, huh? Vacation is good, but tarot never sleeps. That's so. There you go. Now, I have my little tray. This is the moon card. This is a moon tray here. It's a tarot card tray. And it just looks kind of cool. So tonight I'm going to use, for a while anyway, I'm going to start with this cool tarot deck. It's a crow tarot. It's got crows on it. Yeah, I know, Risika. It's like, this was a gift, actually. And it's really cool. It really fits the narrower tarot cards better. I don't even know if they meant it as a card holder, actually. It might just be for, I don't know, people just make little dishes for any reason. But I like to use it as like a deck holder. It just barely fits, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it fits the wider cards, but it's nice, like, to have a little special way to hold the deck. I don't know. It just kind of works. Oh yeah, no, this is all real stuff. Like this here is a little, you can buy these in Turkish lamp stores, like a store that sells Turkish. Let me center it actually a little bit better. Like stores that sell Turkish lamps sometimes have these little carpets that are just, they're just like a foot long to put a Turkish lamp on, like if you have it on a table, and they like to present them that way sometimes. So actually, you can just go and buy these things, and they're great for tarot for 3-4 card readings. This little mat. So I think I bought like 2 or 3 of them, specifically for tarot. I've been working this weekend on my presentation. I've been working on lights, camera, getting things set more professionally, basically, trying to make it all work the way it should. So this is, I'm still playing around with things, but I'm trying to improve as I go with how I do this, so that things are easier for people to see, easier for me to handle, like while I go, so that I'm not all bollocksed up trying to figure out what's where. So with this new approach, I think I can do readings. I have several screens set up, so I can do readings where I'm more visible, so that what I'm saying, maybe sometimes people like to see the person who's talking a little bit more clearly. Other times I can make this screen here with the tarot get much bigger, and then I get much smaller. That I've sort of been playing around with things so that the whole presentation of this can be easier for people to see what's going on. And the more I investigate doing these things with video, almost everyone that I see giving advice for these things says that lights are the big primary key visually. You have to get light on yourself, and that the camera comes really second, and that audio is more important, actually. People will be more inclined to watch something a video if it has really good audio. But I think they all work together. So my approach has been to solve the camera problem. You know, I'd been working on the audio problem earlier for other stuff with, you know, gaming and stuff. But yeah, and then lights I started tackling over this last week, trying to get more light sources. You know, so basically just trying to be a little bit more disciplined about what I'm doing. The tarot told me to be more focused and more, you know, pursue what I'm doing and pursue it energetically and try and apply things that I know and skills and just to be willing to learn more. So if I get that kind of advice out of the tarot, I'm going to follow it. Well, Risika, that thing about the background, interesting you mentioned that. You're very, very sharp, actually. Oh, right. I have that. You know, I'm going to bring that back. But the machine that makes the little galactic thing, it makes a buzz. And it's getting onto the soundtrack. It's getting into the audio. And so I'm like, I got to figure out a better way to do that. It's going to come back because I know it sort of moves a little bit on the walls with the color. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a different one that's silent. It has to be silent because it's back behind me. And because of that, the microphone is facing that way. And so anything buzzing back there gets just ever so slightly picked up on the soundtrack. And what I've noticed is I used to do a lot of noise cleaning on audio tracks. You know, if I want to use something I'm saying for like to cut a clip out or something. And then if you do noise correction on an audio file, it's not always that great a thing to do because it can sort of just slightly alter the good parts where you're talking. So you have to be careful about cleaning noise out. But anyway, it's interesting you mentioned the background because basically the reason I'm able to get the background working more to my liking is because I went and got a camera. I got a new camera. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, then do it correctly and go get the proper damn camera. So I went and did that, and it's able to, you know, it lets me fine tune things more than my old one was. So I just figured, you know what? Look, whatever camera I get for doing this, even if I fall flat on my face and I, you know, can't do that, end up like I can't do I suck or something, I still can use the camera as a camera. I mean, I can use it. It's going to be great. It's fun. It's going to be, I can use it at the beach. but I just figured it was important to get the right stuff going. So thank you. I'm glad I put it on here. Look, see what it'll do is really nice. This. So, and now see the background's gone. See how the background's all, see how it works. And then see that it's nice and like, yeah. Oh, hi, Jojo. Well, what we have is a live tarot stream. And I'm just showing how I'm putting a new camera to work in the stream. And I'm showing how it does the bokeh, the background, the nice, see that I'm blurred now. And then if I take this out, then I very quickly come back in. So I can, you know, do that. So there you go. Of course you can join for a reading. Absolutely. I'm here to right now. I'm telling Risika how I have been trying to get my act together with all the technical stuff you have to do when you do a stream, if you want people to actually be able to comfortably see what the hell you're doing. So that's what I've been up to. And but go ahead and do your join. And oh, there you are. There you are in, Jojo. You are up. So basically, as always, pick a topic. Something you would like the tarot to give you some hints about. And I'm going to start off using the Crow Tarot. The Crow Tarot is a deck that I was out with a friend having lunch one day, just sort of rambling around. And for some reason, we just wandered into some shop. I think it actually might have been one of those shops where they sell crystals and, woo-woo stuff. And I saw this deck. Oh, it was in Venice Beach. That's right, Venice Beach. And there was this deck, and I just sort of grabbed it and thought it looked really cool and bought it right there. And then I spent all of lunch like pulling the cards out of the box, looking at the deck, trying not to get food all over them. Venice Beach is a really nice place to go sometimes on a weekend. You know what I'm talking about. You wander around those side streets and stuff where they have, what is it, Abbott or something? Anyway, where they have all the little stores and cafes and stuff over there. It's really, really nice. Financial future. Well, okay, let me move the dish out of the way. It served its purpose very well. All right, now let's do a cut. And we're going to talk about what the tarot sort of implies for that wealth and financial, all those things that some of us are really good at handling. Not me. Others are like me, are just like, what? But, and let's say now one more cut. And let's do one of these where I wander through. And there's our first friend comes out. This one seems to be wanting a spot. All right. What are the cards going to talk to us about first? Look at that. Look what it presents to us right away. Let me just do my little thing here. We have Temperance showing up. This is a major arcana card. And you see, already you can see this sort of really nice approach the card has with the sharing of the resources going from goblet to goblet that the crow is doing there, and how they've you see all this sort of sense of kind of a cheerful abundance in the background with the nice yellow flowers blooming. You see kind of an image here of, a crow that's happy and content. The basic underlying message here, and we're talking about financial sort of life, is the card's primary meaning, which has to do with being able to maintain a balance, the ability to mix various qualities, mix efforts, mix things that you have that you have, that you own, but mix your talents, mix in with other people, mix up ideas. But you basically you temper and control and you maintain an even keel by keeping everything sort of flowing back and forth, a free exchange, basically. That's what the main implication of this sharing of the water from goblet to goblet, from left hand to right hand, if there were a person there, the sort of sense of balance and moving the various elements back and mixing them into something else. And what you create when you do that is some other kind of a fluid or another kind of an ambition or a quality. And in the financial world, it means perhaps, instead of focusing in one particular area and putting all your eggs in one basket, it can imply being a little bit broader, a little bit more inclusive of various different aspects financially, It's almost like that advice that you hear when you invest, if you want to be on the safer side, you do things like funds, right? That sort of have a mix of different stocks in them. I don't understand all this stuff very well. I just know what everybody knows about these basic ideas you hear about. And that is, and they make sense. So instead of focusing on just one industry or one type of company, your investments are a little bit more spread evenly in a group, so that it can weather the ups and downs a little bit more gently and maintain more of a steady growth over time, not a rapid rise, which can also lead to a sudden crash down. So that's what the temperance card is saying is the primary factor here, which makes really good sense financially, I think, for almost anyone. It implies avoiding real risk and being somewhat cautious, but just sort of taking a gradual growth perspective and giving it its time, and not being sudden and not putting all your resources in just one small area. Temperance will kind of give you that general approach to things. Now, here on the left, a sort of unconscious bit of motivation that may be going on. Okay, so you're dealing with wands, the 9. Okay, wands are the energy behind what you're doing, the energy behind what you want to make or create or have. So it's kind of the energy that you need money to fund. Like if you were a creative person, you wanted to do something like get a microphone or something, you have to fund that somehow. You have to put your financial abilities, whatever they might be, as simple as any kind of a job you might be doing, and whether or not you can budget for that microphone, right? So here, the creative energy where you want to get on and do your live stream, okay? You want to live stream about tarot, let's say. Whatever it is, but that's your creative energy, and you apply yourself to it. And what this 9 is representing is all that you've learned in whatever it is you do. And I don't know what you do, Jojo, but whatever it is that most gets your interest and your drive motivated, that 9 stands for all that you have accomplished so far, all that you have learned. And it's saying, continue to persevere in that. Keep doing what you do, because what it is that you love to do truly is what this card is saying will provide you the unconscious energy underneath that you're not even aware of to push you toward success, toward this financial balance and general sort of sense of well-being financially. If you follow what it is that really motivates you to feel good about what you're doing to make your money. That's what that 9 is. And the 9 is always the number of completion, but not, it's the number of arriving at near completion, where you see the end of the road, You want to cross the final hurdle and get over and finish the project. And you have to now understand that the 9 is saying you have to apply everything to it. You can't drop out. You can't procrastinate. You have to maintain the movement and follow through to finish. Okay, now here on the right, we get into a more sort of conscious awareness. And look what you have here. Wow, this is an amazing reading for finance because the Wheel of Fortune's another major card, okay? So Wheel of Fortune comes out, and this is the card of big change. This is the card of life changing. And it shows, because it's a major, that it's nothing to take lightly. This is a big, serious, kind of profound sort of capacity for change. And it's coming. And the reading here, because it's over here on the right in the conscious advice section, so to speak, it's telling you, keep your eye on that. Look for that opportunity for big change, because it's coming. And when it does, it's only going to increase your potential for this general sense of well-being financially that maintains its balance and doesn't do anything crazy. Temperance is always about taking the middle road, going down the middle, like the Greeks used to say, the ancient Greeks, the medium. The medium is always the best, the middle. Not too much risk, not too much conservative safety. It's always about a balance in all things, moderation in all things. It's what this thing is hinting at as a sound financial approach, leading toward big changes as long as you follow what you really feel is your path and you enjoy doing and apply your skills there. Oh, Jojo, I see you're saying you're having some freezing issues. This deck is the Crow deck. It's really not that new. I think that I don't know. I'm not sure what its date. It's by an artist called M.J. Cullinane. I don't know what the date of it is, though. It's not that old. I think it's probably only a few years old. Okay, Jojo. So what I was basically saying is that the Wheel of Fortune being in the conscious means, keep your eyes open for the possibility of big changes that you have an opportunity to make by maintaining a careful sort of balance in your financial approach and unconscious advice to follow you do have to work for it, because the 9 here is the wands with your talents and skills being applied with persevering energy to what you do, to what drives you, what motivates you most. So follow what it is that really motivates you in your work. Maintain a balance, a sound approach without being too extreme in any one direction financially. And it leads to you being aware of the possibility for really big changes coming. And this is a very positive reading. To follow what you love doing and really follow through to finish things. Keep a balanced view. Moderation in all things is what temperance implies overall for this reading. leading to profound, important changes in life and opportunity, represented by the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, making money, it's one of those things where you can sort of profess to not be that concerned with it, but then when you are making money and you're like, oh, I can pay for things, then it feels it's a good thing. You feel like you feel good. It takes a certain amount of stress away. But that temperance card is an enormously important card for anyone and their money, because it means to be even. Don't go crazy. Don't spend more than you have. I mean, that's not always the best advice, because sometimes you do spend more than you have by getting loans and that kind of thing, but you have to be very careful about what you're capable of handling. You have to know, and that's what temperance is talking about. Don't go nuts in any one direction. Be even keeled. Temperance is a very, very good card for money. I would think it because of that ability to use money without being foolish with money, without spending more than you can possibly pay back or keep track of in your books, right? Temperance will always prevent you from making those foolish decisions, from wasting money on silliness. Well, and sometimes, people spend money and they go through times when they spend a little bit more money, but how are you spending it? That's why temperance is here. What are you spending it on? Are you spending it on things that are going to step you up toward your goal? Or are you spending on things that are going to prevent you from getting to the goal? These are just things, we all know this stuff. We all know. We don't need accountants to tell us that we can't be silly with our money. Our parents told us that when we were really young, that if you get an allowance, you can't go and buy 20 candy bars if you can only afford 10. And in fact, should you buy the candy bars at all? Or should you put the allowance in your piggy bank and save it up so that you can buy yourself a little wagon 2 months later? You see, these lessons we all know them. They all came to us very early on. That's all the temperance card is reminding us of. Big TVs, yes. Colorful lights, hey, But you see, look, who knows what you're doing with those? You might be it might be the perfect thing for you to be spending money on. Yeah, not everyone had fiscally wise parents. That's true. That's totally true. That's like, some of us don't get those good lessons from parents. Yeah. I have popcorn over here. You should always eat popcorn when you do tarot, because it's not messy, right? It doesn't get all over everything. It's dry. And you can throw it at the screen. You can go like that. Don't spend it all in one place. Well, yeah. That sort of implies don't spend it all in one bar. So, don't spend it in the bar. Temperance, man. There's always a card that I always suggest someone keep in mind, sort of like it's in their back pocket. Keep the temperance card in your back pocket. and you refer to it in your mind every once in a while when you're making decisions. You go, temperance, temperance, temperance. Remember, if you're going to go and waste your money on some stupid thing and that little tiny voice in the back of your head, something is telling you, I really should not be doing this. Just think, oh, right. What would the temperance card say? Man, budgeting, that's the last thing a kid wants to know about in most cases. A kid that does want to know about budgeting is probably going to grow up to be like a super CEO of some gigantic oil corporation. I was always really bad. I remember when I was selling at school, sometimes they'd give us big we'd go around, they'd give us boxes of like candy boxes, and mine was peanut brittle, like boxes of peanut brittle. And you would go out through your neighborhood and sell door to door the peanut brittle, and then you'd bring the money in a box to the school after a week or so, and that money would go toward like some program for I think to help people who needed food or something. It was run by the United Nations, something like that. And so I was like, I would get hungry, and I had this huge box with like 50 or 100 boxes of peanut brittle in it that I was selling, but I would get hungry. And so I would open up one of the boxes of peanut brittle and start eating it. And I was just like, oh, it's okay, because I'll just make up the difference. I'll just put some of my own money in the box and to pay for the box, but I got a little behind because I ate too many. And so I got a little behind, and I think I had to go to my parents and confess that and say, can you give me some money to put in the box to give to the school? So, that was my budgeting. That's how I did it. Yeah. That's credit cards. That's right. That was me doing that was me doing credit. Exactly. Yes, I didn't even know it at the time. But somehow I got through it, and I turned the money into the school, of course. There was a nice thing, though. I don't think people do that now anymore. I don't think kids go door to door anymore doing that stuff. I think it depends on where you grew up. Because like where I lived, you'd go around, people all knew who you were in the neighborhood. Oh, a magazine. Yeah, it's a magazine. That's true. I had people come to my door, and it was some magazine thing. I didn't get the magazine. I kind of thought it was like a scam or something. Because when it happened with someone came to the door and there was an adult there, but they also had like kids, and it was just like kind of weird. I was just like, what? What is this? And they had like a clipboard and a bunch of weird magazine and a bunch of ratty old papers, like all torn, and they kept talking about magazines. And I was just like, yeah, no thanks. Oh, see, I think I must have had it good because I had all that peanut brittle. I had a supply of peanut brittle, man, that would have like it was just a it was like a gift from the gods when I was that age. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Must have been. So yeah, temperance. Temperance will prevent you from ordering every little magazine thing that comes along. Yeah, I like the Crow deck. It's I mean, what a lot of work this deck was to make. My God. It's very involved artwork. So tomorrow, a lot of people are going to be seeing, well, all weekend, I think. There people all over. They do fireworks on the weekends instead of waiting just till tomorrow. I remember when I was a kid for 4th of July, um, really being into going to see the fireworks and being really, really upset when it would be a rainy 4th of July. And I'd be like all day long checking, like, looking outside to see if the rain would stop and all this stuff. I was like, just like a little fireworks junkie. Really? Not even like for professional they don't even have like a professional fireworks show that the city hires to do a show? Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's that way here too. There are all these laws. You're not supposed to do it, but they do it anyway. Yeah. The like little sidewalk fireworks and stuff. But if you're in the, some cities, um, like fireworks, people shoot off their own like big fireworks all over the city skyline. You can see them for miles on the 4th of July, just like constant boom, boom, boom. Like, and sometimes it's good enough just to like go up on your roof or something and just hang out and watch that. I've done that. Just go up there with some beers and like, I mean, not like, I mean, a roof where somebody might have a deck, like a not like climbing up on some dangerous roof or something. Oh wow! So they did their fireworks in June, huh? Well, you know, look around outside because often there's like, some company might do them. They get a permit from the city and they have a fireworks display. You know, could could be something like that. Let's see. Let's draw a card for fireworks. Fireworks, 4th of July. Oh, well, the four, well, okay. The four is reversed. Four of Wands. So the wands represent the fire. The four represents certainty and stability. But the four reverse could simply mean, well, it's just going to be sort of we'll see. Play it by ear. We'll see what happens. There's no, you don't count on anything. But it's quite possible. See, this card kind of almost looks like, those almost look like fireworks up in the sky, those four blossoms there. So it's quite possible, but the blossom, it's reversed. So it means that it's probably somewhat unlikely, but keep your eyes open because it could come out as a surprise. A lumber town, a forest festival. Oh, that's I kind of like that. I like that. A lumber town with a forest festival. That makes perfect sense. So if it's a lumber town and there's forest, then I'm betting that there's like some really incredibly beautiful areas around there. Working forests. Yeah. So in other words, a lot of big trucks going in and out, with like logs and stuff. Is that what that means? Like the working forest, like there's just a lot of lumber operations probably. And what do they call them? Sawmills, stuff like that. Okay, I'll give you another one. It's a slow. Normally, JoJo, I only do a single reading, but it's slow, so why not? We don't have people in the queue, Friendships. Okay. Sure. Hey, man, the only reason you have rules on a stream is just for for when things get tight, when things are like, when you have to make things so that people understand, that you have to be able to sort of move from person to person, and so everybody gets a chance. That's the reason you do rules. All right. Friendships. Anything sort of specific? Hi, Parkers. How are you? Just about to start a little reading on friendship for JoJo. Yes, I'm doing a reading right now. I'm just about to start. We're using the Crow deck, the Crow Tarot deck, which has crows on it. We're using that one at the moment. Okay, so JoJo, do you want to add anything to that suggestion for a reading about friendships, but do you want to narrow it down at all? Yes, so you could break them. That's right. I see, Parker, you've joined in. So JoJo, yeah, give me a little more, like a little. You have a friend you're having a falling out with. Okay, want to know if you should restart the friendship or let it go. Okay, let's look at that. All right, let's look at the first top of the mountain idea. All right, this is the 6 of swords. I'm going to hold this up, and it came in reversed. Now, the swords are conflict, argument, intellect, discussion, negotiation. Having a falling out is very easily represented by the swords, okay? Because there's all sorts of tension and conflict implied in that, and discussions, arguments that go may last a long time and never get resolution. The 6 is inherently the number of enjoying, sharing, open communication, community. 6 is very much a community number. Now, in this reversal here, what it's suggesting, it's reinforcing, it's basically saying, yeah, there's conflict here, and we're not able to resolve it. It's stressing us out. We're thinking about it in ways that just aren't productive. We're also holding secrets. There are things that we're not telling each other necessarily. That's why the 6 is reversed. If with a 6 to be positive, you have to have this sense of wanting to share things with people, wanting to tell them the story, wanting to give them the whole picture. And it works to everyone's benefit doing that. When it's reversed, it means you're clamming up and you're holding things and you're being a little self-centered. And that happens in an argument. You tend to reject the other person or what they're saying, right, in favor of your position. And that can lead to too much separation. And so the communication breaks down and there's a wall right there in between both people. And you can't get past it. So that's basically the main thing. This communicate is what there's problems with communication, but that's the most important problem in this whole scenario, is that communication so that you can resolve and negotiate. Now, an unconscious suggestion coming in. This is good. The 2 of Cups. Look what and it's not reversed. The 2 of Cups. What is it really, really implying? It implies coming together. It implies opening up of your heart to one another. Look how the 2 cups are sharing their contents back and forth. Look at the heart there, right between the 2 crows. Look at the symbol above. Look at all that sort of symbol of energy of 2 people combining, 2 people coming together. So what this is saying is that underneath all of the nonsense, underneath all of the arguments and strife and all the blockages, there is this basic underlying instinct to get closer to the person. That's why the 2 of Cups representing your heart, your feelings, your love for your friend underneath all of this. It's still there. It wants to come together like 2 magnets. That's why it's there. And this is a unconscious sort of drive. What this card being on the left here means is that this is what's really going on in you underneath. And you might not want to admit that, but that's what it is. Okay? So this instinct to come together and join up again in spite of all of this strife and lack of proper communication. And then the more conscious word of advice, we get a reversed devil. The devil is all about being bound, being prisoner to one thing or another. And it's quite possible that if you are a prisoner to a certain way of thinking, holding on desperately to some one point of view, being bound up and unable to move forward because of that, that is something to keep your eye on. Now, the reversal here implies the opposite of being bound. It implies a breaking of the chain, a breaking of the impasse or the deadlock. It's like when two warring armies start negotiating, they both insist on their own point of view. Neither one wants to give in, but eventually something has to break, something has to give. And that's what this card is about, that it means keep your eye on the opportunity to break the chain that's holding you in one place or one particular argument too firmly. Be flexible. That's why the devil's reverse, because it means, in fact, rather than being bound up, rather than being a prisoner to the way things have been going, or to your particular argument that you're so attached to, rather than that being the case, you actually have a huge opportunity to be the opposite and to be free of that. That means following your unconscious will to be a good friend in order to break through the communication barrier and allow yourself to break the bonds holding you in this static situation of conflict. The conflict appears to have a resolution that will end this contrary sort of thing that's going on. I think this is a basically positive trip through your disagreement, as long as you keep in mind that there are communication problems that are very, very important to resolve. Yeah, the Two of Cups is a nice one to get. It always is. It always implies come together. Okay, so if they reached out and want to be close again and you miss what you used to have, then you can use this reverse devil card to break through the deadlock. And very often, breaking a deadlock, it just takes one person to say, I'm not going to, let's just go have a beer. Come on. This is where the phrase, let's agree to disagree comes in, right? You can still disagree and still enjoy having a beer or a meal together, right? It happens all the time. So these things, tarot never really does anything by just saying, oh yeah, it's going to just work out. Always has the suggestion that there's something to do, that there's work to be done, that you have to actually keep things in mind in order to change them. You have to put the effort in. Park Sama. You are next in the... Parker, you are next in the queue. If you accept the consequence, then it'll work out. Well, I mean, its main thing is, Jojo, to break the communication barrier. And keep in mind that you guys can come together and share your hearts and feelings openly and break out of a locked down point of view that you insist upon. That's what the reading is suggesting, but it takes work. Hi, Parker. So, okay, it's your turn, and basically you just pick your topic and let me know kind of what you want the tarot cards to talk about. relationship. Okay, so you're welcome, Jojo. Oh yeah, it'll take convincing. Oh yeah, these things, they don't just go poof and they're done, you know. Okay, relationship. So give me a little more. What's sort of your storyline with it, Parker? Yeah, the plot thickens. Yeah. Well, that's no reason. I mean, no reason not to work on solving the argument. Can still solve the argument. I mean, people are attracted to people. It's just natural. It just happens. There's nothing you can really do about it. Okay, Parker. So you met with a girl yesterday. She was nice. Insta. Okay. Okay, so she DM, but never follows back, and we didn't talk today. Well, okay. I mean, oh, so you want to know if there's possibility here, if there's real possibility, or if it's just not, if there's just not anything really going on there. All right. Let's let these 3 cards that have come out, let's let them emerge from the deck. And let's split them out like the petals of a flower. And let's look at what the top petal of our flower is pointing toward. Ace of Swords. Swords are all about communication, how you think and talk to each other, basically how you resolve things, negotiate, conflict. But it's all it's mental, and it's, in this case, since we're talking, obviously here, we've mentioned DM, Insta. We're talking about talking, how you guys communicate. Is there something, is what's being said going to lead anywhere? The Ace of Swords is a very powerful card. It is a card of enormous possibility. It means that there is way more to be said. There's lots to know here about this other person. There's lots to share. There's lots to express. The ace, it's right side up. It means all indications are that further communication is definitely warranted here. It definitely means something. It suggests allowing that sense of communication to function in its fullest capacity and whatever, you know. And it doesn't mean rushing. It means giving the other person whatever time they want. But it does indicate that there's real possibility in the talking, in the discussion. That's where things are going to start, is in the discussion, the back and forth. So that has to be handled in the right way. It has to be clearly expressed. Ideas have to be presented. Communication has to be healthy and sort of, vibrant. That's what the ace suggests. Vibrant energy of communication and back and forth. Interest. You have to show interest in what the other person is saying. You have to listen. The Ace of Swords doesn't work without incredibly open ears, right? All right, now unconsciously, you have the Ace of Wands. It's reversed. Now, the Ace of Wands is basically that same idea of infinite potential, of the instinct, the drive, the passion, whatever the passion is, where that leads you. And all of that, following that energy. Now, what it's saying here by being reversed, the unconscious sort of hint here is to let it move gently. Over eagerness, too much expression of desire may not be the wise choice in these things. The cards are leaning toward discussion and ideas ahead of expression of desire, okay? It's keeping you more in the mental realm for now than in the sort of the passionate realm. Okay? That's what the cards are suggesting now. This is sort of hidden under the surface. This is hard to see, but that's there. That may be you may already understand this without realizing you understand it. Now on the right is a more conscious bit of advice. And what are we looking at? Aha, three. Wow. The three of swords. Okay. So again, look what we're dealing with here. The three of swords, and it's reversed, but right side up. You see how painful this is in the image here? Now, this is where you get into the idea of the three and its suggestion to go into action. It's suggestion to move forward, but it can lead to real pain. It can be really tough to deal with in the realm of discussion and conflict and resolving things. It can hurt, but it is a card of action. Now, it's reversed in your reading. So what that's suggesting is that sudden movements, sudden leaps in your conversation toward trying to push things along are not wise. You know, it's saying, take it gently, move slowly, don't try to push. If somebody isn't responding, don't push. Let the energy of the discussion take its natural course here to fulfill all its possibilities, which are quite large in this. But don't push. Keep this in the forefront of your mind. Don't push. Avoid the pain of taking drastic action. And be aware that there is some unseen hesitation to express interest and passion, and just let that ride. Don't worry about that. Yeah, that, a deep breath before you, because a lot of, with texting, man, I'm telling you, and I'm older dude, and I know perfectly well, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you text, you can really trip over your own feet, and you can text too quickly to something. You can respond too quickly. I've done it where you get pissed off about something that somebody says, and you might have even not read it right or something. You don't know they're being silly, and you type something back too quickly that's like, nasty or something, like you're being argumentative or something. You can just and then the other person gets mad, and it's like, so you have to be easy with these things and let them sort of progress naturally, and don't push them. That's what this reading is suggesting. And Risika, I see you there in the queue. So Risika, you know how to do it and get your topic going. You're very welcome, Parker. It's simply, tarot. You don't even have to be wise. You just the tarot just like, it gives you those hints, right? And you just have to be willing to sort of follow where they go. Learning how to read tarot, it's like it I don't know. It's like one of those things where you just learn how to sort of take the little story that's presented to you and tell it in a kind of a clear way that a person can make some use of. It's a certain form of storytelling, and it gives another person a little opportunity to look at or follow what they already kind of suspect anyway. How can I help M? Through their emotional turmoil, they have been getting ripped apart and gaslighted by super toxic family. Yeah. Oof. Gaslighting, man. Basically, that's where, because I've seen it in a friend of mine going on with their ex. And basically, it's somebody who just says stuff that everybody knows is not true, but they say it absolutely as if it is true. And they do it in multiple times with multiple things. And they just say one thing after another that's not true, that you can even show clearly is not true, that's demonstrably untrue. But they will say it anyway, over and over and over again. And they will go down all the way saying it, even though it's not true. They can say till they're blue in the face, red is green, red is green, red is green. And you're like, no, red is not green. I can prove there's a different wavelength of light coming off red than there is green. Any scientist can show you that. You can Google it. Nope, the other person says that's all fake. Those articles on Google are fake. Red is actually green. And they will just go down to their grave saying this. That's gaslighting. So let's, with that energy sort of behind this question, let's keep that energy and focus it on the cards and see what they have to say, because you basically want to be able to help make this other person get through this and feel better, and maybe help show them, a way to get through it and keep their sanity, right? Because when somebody's gaslighting you, you can actually start to doubt your own sanity. You can think, well, maybe red is green. What the hell? Could they have a point? Of course, it hurts. Oh, yeah. It takes a lot of energy away. Okay. Very first thing that comes out is a 6. And as we know, the 6 is about communication, sharing. 6 of coins. Look at the crows holding the scales, almost like the scales of justice, but there's like the implication of balance there. Keeping your balance, keeping a level head. And this is talking now in coins. It's talking about health. It's talking about practical matters that make people feel safe and secure and content. And the idea with 6 is share. Come together, be a little community. You see the crows are sharing the fish down at the bottom on the rock there. They're sharing their resources. So the card wants, I think, for you to maintain this sense of community with this other person, to make sure this other person is inside the community of friends. That may just include you, or it may include a wider group of friends, but keep them in the community. Make sure everyone is sharing what they have with this person. It can only help make them feel better. Share the fish, share the benefits, it's like gift giving. It's like giving the gift to this person that they require in this moment of their life. Your group of friends here, represented by the 6, brings harmony and joy to the whole group, including this person that is having the problem. So keep this sense of bringing them into the group of friends. That's what the card constantly implies. It's like that saying, it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to help a friend sometimes. That's what the 6 is all about in tarot. The village, the gathering of the group to enjoy life more. Okay? So keep this person in the fold, close to your group of friends. Then we have over here, in this more unconscious, we have the heart, and it's the 4 reversed. The 4 is the number of being kind of content with what you have, but sometimes being a little too safe and removed from the world. There's other possibility approaching. You see the cup up in the cloud. There's some other element that you might not be seeing that could help sort of get you out of being a sense of isolation. So this is under the surface that may be hard to see that's going on. But the advice here for helping this other person is to recognize that being isolated and closed off is not the right approach. That reinforces what the 6 is telling you. Bring them in, bring them toward friends. Let people gather rather than being too cautiously remote and isolated. Don't let the person hole up. Bring them to the group is what these cards are suggesting. There's unconscious motivation here to sort of get out of an isolated situation or a closed down situation. Open the heart up is what this card is saying. Open it. Don't protect it. Express everything. Express your worries. Express everything. Be open with this person and let them express back. Bring them into the community of friends. The group is what's being pointed at as being powerful here. And then in the conscious, we have a reversed Hierophant. That's the high priest. The Hierophant is all about, tradition, teaching. You see church-like images in this card. You always do with the Hierophant. They're sometimes called the Pope in some decks. But it has to do with that idea of someone you can look up to who leads you toward spirituality, towards understanding of yourself, toward more sort of a religious perspective or spiritual, let's say. Now, it's reversed. So the warning there's a message here about being too reliant upon a source of advice. There could be a person involved who is saying things that maybe you have to literally take with a grain of salt, not take to heart too much. It's basically the card is saying be cautious about somebody trying to dominate the conversation and teach some kind of a lesson. And I think probably that is in keeping with what we're seeing here, which says community, group, bring the person to the group, maybe get them away from some kind of a bad influence that's not helping with the problem. You know what? This card probably has a lot to do with the gaslighting, because a teacher who's a legitimate teacher isn't going to be telling you a bunch of untruths. So there is a source here. If the card is reversed, there is a source of information that has to be avoided. It's coming from somewhere. That's why the card is reversed. So there's somebody trying to teach or guide, and this is perhaps a source of gaslighting information. That's what this card is reinforcing. And it seems like the advice of the general of the cards is get the person, or, avoid isolation, gather the friends and share. And that will lead to healthy movement. Okay, so their instinctive response is to withdraw and hole up. See, that may be what the cards are saying. Yeah, now, because this is very powerfully. The 6 always represents this sharing in the group, this open enjoyment of the back and forth and sharing what you have with your friendships. That's what is primary in this reading. So that's the back pocket card, the card to keep and carry and remind yourself is extremely important. The more the merrier. The group. Let the group, go out and have a pizza party. You know what I mean? And sit down and talk and share all the experiences and laugh and get upset and, make nasty jokes about, the gaslighting and, that's what the 6 is about. Yeah. Go out and have some pizza with these folks and bring the person along and have a nice time. Look, and groups of friends have understood this all along. This is what groups of friends do. They support each other, right? It's really simple. And sometimes when you have that group, it gives that other person like that little sense of like, I've got my group. They're my friends. They're the people I chose. They're there for me. They want to talk to me about all this. And it'll outweigh whatever nonsense is coming from this upside down hierophant who's spouting some kind of nonsensical crap that's getting your friend all wound up. There you go. Video games. I mean, I totally understand that. That is like, I do that too. And so get your headphones on, do a Discord, have some popcorn next to you and like hang out with your friend and talk and share. There's probably, older people who are like my age, they get all like shitty ideas about stuff like this. They're all like, oh, it was better when I was like a kid. When I was growing up, we didn't have all this crap with Discord. And that's just not true, man. People are probably, in many ways, talking more now to their friends than they ever did before in all of history. So it's good. Yeah. Gaming day, man. That's the 6. A gaming day qualifies perfectly. Absolutely. Yep. Oh yeah. This technology stuff. I mean, that's why you see me here. I'm like, this is really cool stuff. This is stuff that never existed before. And this kind of thing brings people together. Things like Facebook often don't. You have to be careful how you use stuff. But I've found that stuff like Discord and gaming, doing stuff like this, streaming, it actually brings people in. It makes them talk. I mean, like we're doing. We're talking. But yeah, gaming night with your friends. Yeah. You can tell. You can tell your friends. We are the six. We are the six of pentacles. Virgo. Yeah. Hi. How are you? Oh, been good. Been, I mean, what I've been doing is really having fun with the whole sort of streaming, like how you set stuff up and how you make stuff work. I actually have fun doing that kind of stuff, like setting up equipment and stuff. Virgo. I kind of, sometimes if I have a weekend setting stuff up and getting it to work and stuff, I'm having a great weekend. And other people will think, why are you working? And I'm just having a good time. Oh, yes, that's right, Risika. That is, you know what? I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that phrase, the six. The six. That's the perfect phrase for the six in tarot. All for one and one for all. I have to remember that. That boils it down really well. That's the Three Musketeers. Albert Dumas. Three Musketeers. Oh, no, Alexander Dumas. School in August. There you go. Oh, boy. Yeah, me either. It was high school. Yep. I remember I had a copy of it that my mom gave me for Christmas swimming, and I think I still have that book, Three Musketeers. If it's in my bookcase. I know it's. I'm sure I have it in a bookcase. Yeah, it's a fun book. Yep. Well, that's cool, Virgo, if you get housing. But even if you didn't, you could still do the all the courses re- remotely. Is that what it is? Oh, okay. So if you're not good online, well, yeah. Well, but you're good here. You can do this, so you could probably do just fine. But yeah, sometimes I think for learning, yeah, it all depends on how you learn best. It's a hard thing to for someone else to understand how somebody absorbs information. Oh, there you go. Extended test times. Yeah. I've heard. See, things are way different now than when I was in school. I think now they're much more keyed in to different things people need that helps them learn better. I'm still eating this popcorn. I'm eating popcorn because I've skipped dinner. Oh, yeah. Well, you're doing better because you have more experience now. With some maturity comes, things you learn how to adapt, and this is why I always tell people sometimes you don't have to start college at the exact same time everybody else does. Yeah. See? So things are going in the right direction. I saw a guy streaming the reason I decided to use the Crow Tarot tonight was there was a guy streaming like I don't know, like 5 nights ago. A guy like with like a white beard. Um I can't remember his name because he had like one of those long white beards. And I think he's from Canada. And he was streaming and he used the tarot deck, the Crow deck, for someone. And I was like, oh, yeah, I have that deck. I like that deck. I got to use it. I don't want to get like locked in on just using one deck all the time. So. Right. The major you're, because you don't, especially when you're young, man. I mean, college can start something. You're only like, you're just starting out. You're just figuring out even who you might be, and you don't even know yet, and you're expected to pick your life's direction at the age of like 17 or something. It's like, come on, man, that's not. That doesn't always work. There's no reason why somebody at 16 or 17 needs to know for sure what they want to be. There's just, even some people don't figure that out. And you can be wrong. And you can be wrong for like the next 10 or 15 years and change everything, long after you're done with college. And then you just switch the whole thing up. Everybody's different. There you go. Yeah. Changed his degree and then all the way through it with a master's degree. Yeah. So everybody's brain develops differently. Everybody finds their road in a different way. And yeah, that's kind of why I like tarot, because tarot is like very rarely going to lock you in on anything. Tarot wants you to sort of keep your options open, always looking at possibilities, new angles on things that you may have missed totally. Or like the tarot just said, what was it? I was saying this earlier this weekend. I said, what the tarot really does is it gives you small openings to chase an instinct, even if only for a very short time. Oh, for me too. Looking in hindsight, that's the whole thing. I wish I had known then what I know now. Mm-hmm. But it's actually never too late. It's never too late. We have these weird ideas about life and things like retirement. It's like, what if you don't even find your path until retirement age? What then? Then you're not going to want to retire. You're going to want to follow it. I always think of retirement as being like, I don't know, having nothing to do and like living next to a golf course. Just like going on a cruise ship now and then or something. And being kind of like bored and like, let's go try a restaurant. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't really imagine it somehow. I don't see it. I don't really understand it. I guess I'm just like a worker. I'm just work. And I was just like, I don't even see the point in not working. I don't understand it. I wouldn't even know what to do, like with retirement. I'd be like, go where? Go to Cancun? What? Any more kids in that? Yes, that's actually probably because man, that's work, man. That's like that can be really like a lot of work. Yeah. You know, and they always shortchange that work, like businesses and stuff. They always kind of, although I think a lot of businesses now are wiser about that stuff because there are more women who are leading companies. And so they're like, hey, obviously, you know, having kids is not easy. So there's more people now, I think, that are running companies and stuff that have a better idea of this stuff. Virgo. Yeah. Hyper chaotic job. I mean, when you've got like little demons running around a house screaming and like knocking stuff over and demanding to be fed and not wanting to go to sleep. All right, Virgo. Yeah, I see you. Here. There you go. And so I was watching this guy with this long white beard do tarot. And he's kind of interesting because it took him about an hour to do one person's reading because he kept getting interrupted. He kept like getting all distracted. But I kind of, there was something I liked about him because he had this real like he'd be like, yep. And, he'd be like, and we're going to have a festival and it's going to be next week. And we had a real nice thing over there last week. And oh yeah, let me look up here. And oh yeah. And he was talking, he had this real sort of like calm, deadpan way of talking. And I was like, this guy's interesting. I actually watched him for like an hour. I was just lurking. I was like, I didn't quite know what to make of him at first. I like to sort of figure out where people are coming from before I follow them, you know? And, but I thought he was kind of cool. But he used the Crow Tarot deck. Yeah. So I was like, I got to use that deck because it's so nice. All right. Virgo. You are, okay, you joined and you had to put sister to sleep. $150,000 a year. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. You're probably, it might even be more than that, actually. Had to leave blue on first day. Bed. Okay. It's about to be your, okay. Virgo, a general. Oh, okay. I was just looking for what you wanted to ask. Okay. So a general, because we're going into the 4th of July and we need to know stuff so that we can relax if fireworks are around and watch them without wondering. Although maybe we won't. Maybe it's a nice thing to look at fireworks, like lie down on the grass and watch fireworks and think about tarot and, think about life and let your mind wander. Let's see. A general 4th of July is coming up tomorrow. Summer has gotten us all thinking about our smoky air and our heat waves. All right, Virgo, let's get the 3 cards from the middle. lay them out. And what's our very first suggestion from on high? 8 wands reversed. The 8 has an inherent active energy behind it, creativity, desire, all of our instincts to go out and get stuff done and make stuff. The 8 also is infinite achievement, high probability of success. However, it's reversed, which is basically showing that there's a slowing down and kind of a suggestion of maybe taking it a little easy, not pushing for change. There's a hesitation implied here. There's also imbalance implied. And it's in the creative, it's in energy. There's energy here. And the energy is perhaps being a little kept a little low ebb. So it's not, there's something going on where you may want to move out, move forward, get past something. And there's like, it's slow, it's a little sluggish. And the card here is trying to say, this is a factor. This is something important. Not a big deal because it's a number card. This is short-lived sort of issue, but there's something kind of holding up some creative or some desire, something that you instinctively want to do or want to move toward, but you can't at the moment. There's a holdup here. The 8, instead of leading to infinite possibility and balance and continued work, has become a little bit sealed in. The prospects are a little, more closed off than they were. Now, unconscious suggestion, something under the surface going on. 7, right side up, swords. That's a card of applying intellect, discussion, dealing with conflicts. And the 7 has to do, you see, there's a bird making off with 3 of the swords, and the other one isn't paying attention. This is kind of getting away with something. But 7 always implies enormous effort to rise above and to get better, to improve one's general situation, and it leans toward elevation and becoming more spiritually aware, more comfortable with yourself. And even in this artist's representation, the bird is in flight, is heading higher, looking for higher ground. You see, taking what the bird needs with them and seeking something higher to get a better vantage point on the situation. You see what that is? It's not all about trickery. It's about improvement because it's a 7. And this means that underneath all of this, perhaps recent and not long-lasting inability to apply your creative energy the way you might want to, there is this tendency that you probably already have, an instinct, something pointing you in the direction of get a better view of what's going on. Get your ideas. What are some of the ideas that might be more unusual than others? Maybe those are the ones to carry off and have a look at, to take with you. That's what's sort of being hinted at, and it's a hard one to grasp. That's why it's on the left. on the right for something more obvious. Wow. Swords again, the 3. And the 3 being this number that implies that, 3 creates a kind of burst of energy, and it can hurt. It can really cut you. That's what this version of the tarot, this deck, has in the 3 of Swords. Oh God, that's not easy. That's not easy. That hurts, man. That change, it can mean something is going away. You see, there's a bird in flight there and another watching. Something is hard to accept. There's something that has to be dealt with, and it's not going to feel good. It's getting in the way. But it has to be dealt with, no matter if it feels like being stabbed in the heart emotionally. It's going to be tough. But it's something to keep in mind that kind of pain and effort is often required, and it's probably going to at some point be required to break through whatever is causing the hesitation and imbalance up here with creative energy. So you see, you're flanked. Your flanks here are both supported by these 2 swords. The 7, which is this effort to gain more understanding, get a higher perspective on what the heck is going on with me, and prepare yourself for tough decisions, things that make you feel that cause pain but have to be dealt with. Happens all the time in life. And none of these cards are long lasting. This is all very short term because they're numbers. Okay? This is not going to be a big, profound deal lasting for months. No, that's not what's happening there. So the takeaway card here really, I think, is really the top one is representing that there is this thing to get past. This little bit of shutdown quality. The real takeaway, I think, is this one, the 7, which is gain a better understanding of what's at work in you. Yeah, the number cards. Hi, baby. Baby Evelyn. I see you there. Hello. Yes, Virgo. The suggestion is with the number cards is that these things are minor statuses. They're not going to cling on and be long-term situations. They're things that you have to think about and deal with over the coming week, maybe a couple weeks. They're really daily sorts of situations, these cards. Not to worry too much about this blockage. Just gain a better understanding. See it for what it is what this card is telling you. And there are some decisions you'll have to make, some things you'll have to think about at the very least, or talk about, that are kind of uncomfortable. That's why that 3 is there. Yes, baby Evelyn. Of course you can get a reading. So, baby Evelyn, what you do is you pick your topic and you let me know, and we will consult these wonderful tarot cards. Yeah, Virgo, I wouldn't worry too much about number cards. I mean, this could be some sort of a blockage and something you have to think about, involving something you just want to get done in the next couple of days. Nothing more consequential than that. Now, Baby Evelyn, is this sort of a general reading? You just sort of want to see what the cards suggest as a sort of a general thing to ponder for the next few days. Is that the idea? Okay, it's a relationship. Okay. Relationship improvement, get better. Got to make some progress. Okay. Let's think about that. And you know, this time of year can, frankly, I've always had problems around this time of year. Relationships, I don't know what it is about summer, the beginning of summer. It can sort of bring these weird tensions out. I don't know. 4th of July sometimes is harder to deal with than people think. Is the relationship going to get better? Let's see now. What are the cards? Okay, here's our 3 coming out right here. Okay. What is the tarot trying to tell us right at the top? All right. Is your relationship going to get better? The first thing we get is a major, the Hanged Man. Now, let's look at the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man card is all about waiting. But more profoundly than just the idea of waiting in time, it's about waiting for yourself. Waiting for things to develop emotionally, waiting for things to sort of work their way through your system, letting the relationship sometimes just be without trying to make it do anything at the moment. The Hanged Man also means to let your ego drop for a while, to sort of let yourself feel weak. Let yourself take a weaker position. Be humble. And let things develop so that you actually emerge after some time better. It's like, I always say with the Hanged Man, it's like the cocoon where the caterpillar hangs there from the tree branch, just like the crow is doing here. And eventually the cocoon opens and the hanging caterpillar turns into the butterfly, which then flies away to enjoy life, right? And that's the Hanged Man. You have to let yourself have that time. You have to drop your ego, your wanting to move things forcefully to some sort of conclusion or improvement. The Hanged Man is saying, no, whoa. Slow down and let things slowly develop. Let things take their time. It's not a bad thing. That's what the reading is primarily saying. And then over here on the left, Page of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so there's something physical here. Physical, something financial, but it could be financial, it could be physical, it could have to do with physical relationship, but it's something tangible. And the page is sort of the young learning, always enthusiastic about learning, but it's reversed. And so what you have there, the page, look, it looks very celebratory. You know, the page kind of, yeah, this is going to be so fun to go after, this and get this job or, get a massage or whatever it is that I'm doing that has to do with physical things and things that I need, but the fun is sort of a little lacking here. And the idea here is, be careful about losing sight of how much fun it is to engage in this relationship on the physical level. Don't lose sight of that. Don't lose the enthusiasm, the natural sort of human quality of saying, you know what, I'm not an expert in anything, but I really like being with this person, and I like doing thing. I like when if we're setting up house together, that's fun. We enjoy our jobs, or I'm really interested in their job. Don't let yourself lose sight of how you have fun and enjoy those parts of a relationship. That's why this is reversed. Hold on to being that in that young frame of mind where you're like, hey, I have a lot to learn. I'm not good at this yet, but I'm going to enjoy getting there with this person. And then on the right, with the more conscious, visible type advice, we see the 13th death card. Now, this suggests something has to go. Something has to be let go of. And you see what happens in the death card. You see where the life in the card is. And you see the bird rising up like the phoenix toward the sky out of death. And you see the red flowers blooming. That's because from this ending, from the ending of something, we have new energy, new growth possibility for the next thing. So something has to be done, to be over. Something has to go. Something needs to be let go of. It's possible that what's happening here is that the fun of the relationship is missing over here. That's what this page, that you're not learning. You're not enjoying learning to do things with another person. The physical realm, something's missing that maybe used to be there. Something has to be let go of. It's hard to say if it's talking about the relationship itself or some other relationship, something in the past, but there's something that needs to end. And the cards make these hints, and you usually know what these things are that the cards may be talking about. But the main message of this reading, aside from the fact that, there's some lack of enjoyment here physically, there's something that needs to change profoundly, and you have to move to the next thing. But the main message is you have to give time to allow this to develop in yourself. You cannot rush any of this. This has to emerge naturally. There's really no effort you can make in this situation to make it work. That's what the hangman message is. You can't do anything. You have to wait and let it just kind of slowly become obvious what maybe this card here is referring to letting go of. You did? Well, there you go. That's why you've got this reversed Page of Pentacles. If you stopped doing stuff that's fun, if you're not having fun, and the hangman is saying don't do anything, and this card is saying something's got to go, you have to draw your conclusions there. Keep in mind the Hanged Man card. Don't push. Don't try to take big action to make something. It means you don't have to do a big breakup. You don't have to do a big wedding. You just need to kind of Let me just see how things go. Maybe I'll go on a little vacation by myself for a while. Maybe I'll just go sit on the beach for a while. Maybe I'll go sit in the park for a few days, go there and like just hang out and listen to my music and just, and then what comes to me, what pops into my head when I free myself of all the crap, don't worry about other people and just sort of take time, what emerges from the cocoon of my deep brain. And then I'll know what this 13th card is telling me to do, to let go of. I'll know. That's what that is. That's the hint there. The tarot is all about these little hints and suggestions. The death card sometimes means a certain kind of relationship ends and another kind begins with the same person. Who knows? Just something you have to keep in mind. Risika says lurk. Hi, Captain. Yes, evening for me. So baby Evelyn, you say you just want to restart everything with him. Oh, okay. So then there you have it. So let me clarify then. So now that you've given me more, and Captain, I'm gonna if you want to join the queue, you can. So baby Evelyn, let me say more then, because as I said, the death card, it means something has to go and something else comes, but it can very easily mean that some way that you have been doing things needs to go and you find a new way. And of course, using the fertilizer of what you've learned from the old approach will enhance what comes next, what grows up out of the soil. That's what the death card is all about. One thing dies and another thing comes next. And that doesn't mean a relationship dies. It means that in this case, since you clearly do want to move forward and re-enjoy things, that some way of approaching things probably needs to go. You let that go, and then you find the new thing to try and flip this card back right side up so that you do find this enjoyment. And the pentacles are about physical body, money, and home. If you're living together, it could be that. Maybe there's been some struggle to enjoy the very basic day-to-day things of living with someone in the same house. And you need to rediscover that to turn it around. And that requires basically dropping your defenses, dropping what, not pushing hard. You don't push for a restart. You don't try and manufacture a restart. The hangman always suggests letting things emerge naturally, gradually, gently. Take the gentle road to change, because that way it doesn't freak anyone out, right? And you can very gently let something go, like one approach go, and then find a new, more healthy, more enjoyable one. That what you said is good to know, because it makes the reading more clear. Yeah. So I hope that gives you the encouragement. So think about tarot. It doesn't make things really nice and easy. It presents you with things that are obvious to anyone in a relationship living with someone knows. There are hard things to deal with, and things often do have to end, and in order to create a new way of doing something with this person. You change your mindset, you change a habit, or you change your habits together, and you say, hey, instead of doing it this way, let's have movie night every Wednesday night. Let's do something new. And then you develop some new habit. That's what the death card is talking about here. You're welcome, baby Evelyn. Now, Captain, what you do is you just pick your subject and let me know what it is you'd like the tarot to talk about. And meanwhile, I'm going to prepare by shuffling. These cards are kind of massive and like heavy, and they're hard to deal with. They're a little hard to bend, these guys. Oh, it's okay. You just pick your subject and let me know. I have to sneeze. Oh, jeez, sorry. Thank God the tarot didn't go flying everywhere. Business career. Okay. Let's do a sort of a general perception involving business career. Just sort of a little way to think about things. What is the tarot telling us right at the top? Devil. Major card. The devil is all about being locked in. It's all about the trouble, the strife that comes from being locked, tied down, dependent on something, obsessing on one thing, being, under the control of someone that having an oppressive effect on our own well-being, what we want to be doing. It's a tough thing to overcome, to break chains that are holding you down. And the tarot is saying this is a primary concern. Big deal. And it's a long-term, it's a kind of a thing you have to deal with kind of for a while to get out from something that is keeping you kind of locked into the same thing, and it doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't change. You can't evolve when you're locked in on the Devil card. The tarot wants you to think about this. Where is this happening? How is this manifesting itself in your business and finance, financial life, work? Where is this? Where do you instinctively see this kind of a chain holding you down? Unconscious, 10 reversed. Okay, 10 of Pentacles. Now we get into actual work and money with the Pentacles, otherwise known as coins. And the 10 is the card of I got there, I did it, I finished something, major accomplishment, I'm ready for the next thing, except it's not quite working that way right now. And this is very hard to accept because it's in the unconscious left card position, which means this is something you're not really aware of, that there's a something holding up with reaching real accomplished success in work and money. There's something holding it back. You can't quite get past, and it ties in with the Devil because the Devil is a locked down card. You're tied down. You're sort of enslaved by something. It could mean that you're enslaved by a certain way. You're constantly thinking in the same way about something, and you never are able to alter your way of thinking, your approach. It stays the same. You never get past it. And it's problematic, okay? It's a chain weighing you down. You can't break the seal. And it's affecting how you finish things and bring things through to the end and move from one thing to the next. You see that? The 10 implies moving from one to the next. The Devil implies not being able to move. The 10 upside down implies not being able to move. They're working together. And now, here we get a reversal. Swords, another reversal. 5. 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords is lots of strife, lots of effort, lots of energy and argument and hostility, disagreement, all sorts of failed negotiations, failed discussions, except that it's reversed. So the hint the tarot is giving you here is that maybe if you think about taking a new approach, something that seemed a little nuts to you, maybe if you do it, which you haven't wanted to, that is your way through the thorn bushes here. This reading wants you to break out of some way of doing things or thinking about things or some situation that's keeping you locked down and you don't feel very inspired. But the swords over here are saying, hey, open up your ideas to a new one and let that new one, as uncomfortable as it may be, Give it a chance, because that might be your ticket to getting out of this chain here. Keep your eye on this, What's that new kind of goofy idea that I might try really hard to totally dismiss as being not right? But the cards here are saying, no. At least give it a moment, because it could, in fact, be how you at least alter your way of thinking that's shut down over here in these cards. Hi, Shamanic. How are you? Well, now, Captain, the tarot never says, oh, your idea is great, just do it. It doesn't say that. What it says is, good, you've got that crazy idea. Give it its time. Give it some thought. Let it steep in the teacup. Let it percolate and see where it takes you. You may not have to actually do the idea, but just giving it a chance and working it through your mind will break whatever is keeping you held down in some way of doing things that's keeping you closed. It might open you up a little bit. That's what this reading is offering you, this little opening here to change the way you think about something in order to break through. Okay? And Shamanic, I see you there. If you would like a reading, oh, thank you, Captain. It's like I absolutely try to let the you have to kind of let the cards take you where they will, because you can't force the cards to be a certain thing. You just have to let them. They have to guide you when you read them. That's the only way I can really just describe it. Shamanic, I see you in the queue. Now, what you do, Shamanic, is you just pick your topic. Oh, I'm glad, Captain. That's good. I like, yeah. Right. Yep, exactly. It's guidance. It's hints and openings to sort of look down through a different tunnel to see where, or down a different road to see where it might go. Explore. That's what tarot kind of does. Now, Shamanic, as you think of your topic, I'm going to shuffle the cards and kind of get them warmed up here. Spiritual. Okay, yes. Kind of just kind of a suggestion, like spiritual, like where to put what to look for, sort of those little hints that come out in the world that kind of make you feel spiritual, that sort of make you go, oh yeah, I kind of feel more in touch in a way. And it gets you closer to yourself, right? That kind of thing. Anything spiritual sort of gets you in touch with that higher or deeper, more inside self, the one that you're not always aware of every day when you're going back and forth to work. That. Let's get, here, this one sort of wants to be. So, the card to the left and the card to the right. Now, what is the tarot giving us from the lighthouse on top of the mountain? 4. Wands, reversed. 4, you see, you've got this kind of happy, joyful, artistic expression here. The wands are creative energy, their passion, their desire, their movement toward what it is you wish for. Okay? Fire, the anything, the passion to make something, to be with a person, anything involving the heat of life. Okay? And the 4 is a number of stability. And reversed, it can mean a little difficulty, a little too closed in, a little too safe. Things are getting a little dull, maybe. A little dull. It can also have a different suggestion, which is things become chaotic and things are flying around all over the place and you're not able to really apply your creative energies usefully, the way that makes you feel good. There's some discomfort that's being expressed here. Not too severe because it's a number card. It's short-lived. This isn't a big deal here the tarot's trying to warn you about. But it's pointing at something, and it will clarify in a minute. Is it that you're feeling out of sorts and a little chaotic with your creative instincts or your passions, so to speak? Or are you feeling boxed in and bored? Okay, let's look at what the unconscious is saying. Unconscious gives us the Emperor, which is a big card, major card. And look what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with an emperor who's able to take his seat or her seat and wield the sword, take care of the natural world, the spiritual world, basically control, mastery, mainly of decision-making and the physical realm. But there's mastery here. Okay, now that implies that there's enormous qualities in you that you can draw upon, reserves that you can call upon to assist you in dealing with whatever this feeling here because we're drawing the Emperor card in the unconscious, the Emperor is greatly sort of really understands himself or herself, the situation, is able to make wise, careful decisions, but also has great power and force and can deal with crap like nobody's business, can pick that sword up right off the arms of that chair and swing it and take a tree down. Okay? There's a lot of power in this card. And the tarot wants you to remember that power. That's why it's here on the left in the unconscious position. The tarot is saying, look, don't forget that this is part of you. Do not undersell yourself. Don't worry if you're feeling bored, uncreative, or feeling like your ideas are kind of silly at the moment, or your passions are goofy and out of control. Don't worry about that. You have all the capacity required to handle this situation. Now we come to the Hierophant, and it's reversed. This is the second time tonight we've gotten that card in this same position. Now, I think clearly what's happening here is it's saying there's something, because of the reversal, there's something that hasn't been learned yet. And the Hierophant goes toward spirituality, but spirituality with a lot of tradition behind it, a lot of teaching behind it. There's probably something a little lacking that has to do with the area of listening and paying attention to what tradition tells you. There's a feeling of creative stifling here at the top. Something's not working entirely well with what it is you wish for. You have enormous power and control of yourself, and you have an ability to master many things and situations and resolve them very wisely. There's a piece that the tarot says is very, very important to you because it's a major card that you need to learn, that you need to go and find, something you need to pay attention to involving teachings, involving tradition. It could be something you've already known and understood before, and you've ignored. But tarot wants you to look at it again. And it's saying that because of all this capability you have built into you here, that is probably how you will turn this 4 right side up to rediscover your comfort with what you do and make and how you drive yourself toward relationships and creative projects or things you do creatively at work. But pay attention. Pay attention to something you need to learn here. There's something you're missing, and you need to find it. The tarot wants you to pay attention to someone or some teaching somewhere that's required for you. Specific, this is very personal. Working on your listening. Okay, this is the card. Yes, the Hierophant is all about the listening. You see the bird on top? The bird on top is the teacher. The 2 birds below, they're being given the key. You see, they're being given the key to life and learning because they're listening. They're willing to listen and pay attention because there's something of value here. And the reversal in this situation is simply pointing out you've got to find where this has been missed. Everybody has these things. We all have these things we've missed or have ignored. We have to go and fix that. It's very important sometimes to pay attention to tradition because there's value in them. They shouldn't just be dismissed like, oh no, I'm not. No, but there's lessons in them, even if we don't agree with them. There's still things that teachers, people who have some, I hate to say the word authority over us, but people who are, in fact, in a position where they can help us. And we have to allow ourselves to hear that. You're very welcome, Shamanic Awakening. Absolutely. We've been getting some interesting readings tonight that have these, they have these sort of little suggestions about dealing with trouble. The tarot isn't always cheerful. I'm usually cheerful, but I'm not the tarot. The tarot tells us what it tells us, and there we have it. The tarot can be very subtle in one moment, and the next moment it can come down like a sledgehammer. It can sometimes give readings that are so obvious and clear, and 60 seconds later, a reading that's full of ambiguity, where you have to find the little shades and hints and let them very gently sort of have their effect over a few days, where you think back on a reading or some little part of a reading, and you let it kind of, give you pause. But yeah, that's why I love to do this, reading. I used to do things that were very involved with story. A lot of work involving story and presentation of stories. And of course, when I found tarot, like 20 some years ago, it was like a big story that I had never read before. And I was fascinated. Oh my gosh, all these, every time I hear a tarot reading, it's like hearing this story. It's so funny. I have done voiceovers, books, some book things and stuff. Interesting. Those are fun to do, actually. Reading a book, like chapter by chapter for an audio book or something like that, really, really, I love doing that, because basically you sit down, you have your cup of coffee, and you just read. What could be a better job to do than that, right? You just read. You just get to read all the books. So I should do that. I would read. You know what would be fun? A fun job would be like to read books for Audible. Like read Stephen King's book, his latest book, for Audible. That would be an awesome, awesome job. I would do that in a second. I would do that. Absolutely. I did like Robinson Crusoe. Robinson Crusoe is a wild one to read out loud. I did a whole, this is a while ago. At one point, I did a thing years ago where I was doing a novel. I wrote a book and was it weekly? I think it was weekly. I would release a chapter each week to like people who signed up, and they would get it in their email. And I would also do like a voice, like a audio book thing, and release them. I think it was like every couple of weeks, actually. That was really fun. Oh, I do other. Why did it stop? Because I do all. I do. I do work. I work. I also write software and stuff. So, and the thing is, you just, I don't know, things come up and you go, oh, I'm going to work on this project. And then it takes a ton of time and you're doing something else and it just goes on. And then that leads to something else that's related. And so you keep doing that. You know what I mean? You know how it works. Yeah, man. Doing tarot readings for people. Yeah. And I think people who read tarot, it's good to listen to other people read for them. So they, and sometimes even if you can't really do that, like if I don't have the time, I'll just watch somebody else do tarot stream or something and sort of see, oh yeah, that's interesting how they do it. It's interesting what they see in that card. It's fascinating, all the differences that come out. Hey, Shamanic, yeah, good to meet you. Really, thanks for coming in here. I appreciate it a lot. Jojo, ritual or charms. I'm really, sometimes I do those two exact things. I sometimes on occasion will actually do them like right on the tarot camera. Like I'll do them right here. I used to. Recently I haven't, but sometimes I'll just do it in the other room just to sort of get myself ready in the right frame of mind. Yeah, incense I love. I have some nice incense burners. Again, those are those kinds of things you just see in a shop somewhere and you're like, oh, that looks like the perfect incense burner. And you get it and it's like your fifth one, but you get it anyway. And then it's nice to have these things. But yes, so that kind of thing. I also have like other little things that I'll do. Like I have a few rocks I kind of look at sometimes. I have I Ching coins, the coins with the holes in them. I love those. And sometimes I will do an I Ching reading right before reading tarot, just to see what the I Ching sort of says, just to get that other way of doing things, I actually knew about I Ching before tarot. So back when I was like I was like 20 or something, and I read the I Ching book translation. I read the whole I Ching and got all into that. And I still love it to this day. But I found the tarot a little bit after that. And I was like, oh, this is a whole other thing. It's equally powerful. The I Ching is the ancient, what's called the Book of Changes. And you can use what they call yarrow stalks, where you dump a pile of stalks on the table and you pull them out and you develop, you find your numbers that way. Or you can use the coins. There's called the coin oracle, where you throw the coins and you get these number values from the coins. And then when you put the numbers together, you get a series of lines, 6 lines, and some of the lines have breaks in the middle and others are solid. And they have different meanings based on whether they're broken lines or solid lines. And then you go to the I Ching book, you go look up the symbol you get with the lines, the broken and the solid lines. Those 6 lines all make a symbol, and you look up that symbol in the book, and it gives you your reading, basically. It gives you what amounts to a tarot reading, but it's the Book of Changes, and it's many thousands of years old. It's vastly older than tarot. Our oldest tarot decks go back to like 1400s, somewhere in there. But the I Ching goes way back. Way hundreds of years before that. And it's ICHING. It's sort of like if Apple made something, they'd call it the I Ching, but you pronounce it I Ching. It's always a nice thing to do. Even sometimes about a year or so ago when I was doing some tarot streams, I would mix up I would do sort of equal parts tarot and I Ching, because there are lots of people actually that really enjoy I Ching a lot. I'll do that again in the next few streams. I'll do some I Ching. I kind of like the screen layout. Well, I can't do one now because I have everything put away. But yes, you come back. What's today? Today's Monday. Hi, too much Kathy. Too much Kathy. How could there ever be too much Kathy? Come on, there's never too much Kathy. Today's Monday. I'm going to do another stream on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I will have my I Ching stuff ready right here. Yes, I will do that. That's a really good idea. Yeah, too much Kathy. My gosh, I've known plenty. I knew a Kathy in high school and junior high back, long ago. And she was cool. But yeah, so I Ching, I'll definitely do that on Wednesday. I'll have my whole setup ready to go. Oh, 7 o'clock. On Wednesday, it's 7 to 10 Pacific time. It should be in. I have it in the schedule on this Twitch thing. If you go into the schedule tab, I think it should be in there. I see too much. You are... Wait. Too much, you are up. And what you do is you give me your topic, what it is you would like the tarot to talk about. General, okay. Something to sort of think about for the next little while. 4th of July coming up here tomorrow. Always a good time to sit and look at fireworks if possible and ponder. What's the tarot hinting at primarily? Four of Swords. Four of Swords in this particular deck, and it's reversed, has this aspect of taking a break. Things have been really hard. It's taken a lot of effort and work to get where I am, and I need some time. This can be also a very sort of gathering of your thoughts, clearing of the mind, gathering, preparing ourselves for something. However, it's reversed here. And that is indicating that we can't let our guard down yet. We cannot yet relax. Something needs to be done. Something is outstanding here. There's something that has been left. We need to finish this before we can rest. Something we might not be aware of here. Queen of Wands, our creative energy, our fire, our passion, our desire. Okay, reversed. Queen of Wands essentially has this mastery over her creative energies, over her passions. She's able to use them to bring everything to life, to bring nourishment all around her, wherever she may be. Bring it, everything grows better around her. Something here, there's a concern with our ability to control, our ability to master our passions. Things are getting a little wobbly and out of sync, perhaps. The queen is not able really to apply her energy, to apply her creative skills where they need to go. She's having trouble finding how to express herself. Okay, that's why it's reversed. Trouble expressing, trouble finding an outlet for the fire to do and make and be in a relationship. It's just something's blocking us from making this happen. We're not able to express ourselves freely. Okay? And this is something we're not aware of that's going on. That's why it's here in the left. So there's something that needs to be done. There's something that needs to be done, dealt with. There's some practical matter, something, some conflict or something with someone, something that needs to be discussed, and it's going to be hard, and it has to be finished. It has to be dealt with openly before you can rest and let your guard down. And it's affecting how we're able to pursue our passion. We're boxed in and pushing everything down. And we don't have confidence in ourselves here. And on the right, we end up with a suggestion for what to really think about and keep clear in our minds. And we get the 10 of Cups right side up. Now that's the bursting, exploding of your heart, the in a healthy bursting of energy way, expressing your feelings. And it implies a full realization of how you feel about someone primarily. It's your heart, it's your love being fully and openly expressed so that you can put something to rest. You can say, we got there, we accomplished it, I can move to the next thing. We can start talking about something else. You see all this sort of abundance here. You see the little couple, the birds, they're in the nest even. They're sharing, they're talking to each other. Everything is being expressed here. All their feeling for each other. It's all working in this card. And they're ready to go and buy the next sofa for their wonderful new home. That's what this 10 is. See those cups? They're all bursting up toward the sun. There's a rainbow. It's very, very open heart, lots of feeling, lots of love, just overflowing with it. That's what the tarot wants you to remember or keep in mind is coming. That's coming. And that is how you are going to put to rest whatever the conflict has been in your way. Opening your heart here is the big key. You have to tell yourself, that's why it's on the right-hand side. You have to tell yourself, open my heart, express my feelings, be very, very clear about how I feel, share, protect the home, engage fully in the relationship, be 100% there and open and sharing. If I feel like I want to say I love someone or something, say it. That's what this is all about. And that is the key to this entire reading, to resolve the sort of impasse, the whatever conflict has not been finished, is suggesting that maybe you approach it with the flavor of an open heart and take it to the emotional level. And then this nervousness about how we express our passions, how we put our fire into our life, our worries about that will dissolve. And we will be able to put these conflicts and difficult thoughts to rest and take a break from the conflict, from the disagreements. But we have to open the heart completely in order here to follow this suggestion. So, because it's a general, too much Kathy, it implies that you find where in the scope of your current life this advice may actually be applying. What relationship? Where does it want you to express your feelings? And only you know that. Hi, little possessed. Little possessed. Little possessed. I hope that helps too much, Kathy, that you can find a way to put these suggestions to some kind of use for yourself. You're very welcome. So, a little possessed, you can give me your topic, ask what you will, and I'll start shuffling the cards. Future. Future love. What can the tarot tell us? And what hints will the tarot have in store for future love? What to be on the lookout for, basically. And we've got our top, left, and right. What does the tarot say first and foremost? Queen of Cups, future love, Queen of Cups. The cups are love. They are your heart. They're everything you feel. And the Queen, she always follows her heart. She always knows her heart. She listens to its signals. She has no fear in following her heart. And when she does, she brings everything to life around her. You see all that bursting life in the card, but you also see this sort of mystical connection to spirituality with the moon there. You see all this activity going on, high and low. animals, nature, and spirituality. She has it all swinging around her. It's all built in. Everything gains power around the Queen of Cups. She follows her heart and she encourages everyone else to. She brings life out. She brings life out of everything. She brings everything to life. She's nurturing. She's all about love in the family. She represents the heart and love. And she always knows how to express it. And she's not worried. She's never afraid to express love. And that's right there at the top of the reading. That means, hey, this is the main thing about you in this whole future love idea is you've got this full capacity to express. You bring this incredible, rich understanding of love and relationships with you. So anyone you come in contact with in this way is going to see that right away, right off the bat. Oh, this is something interesting here. This is like, there's life here. There's all this potential here. And I see this person who is like really, really able to profoundly feel things and express them. Okay? That's what this card is all about. Now here we have an unconscious Ace of Wands. The wands, the passion, the creative spirit, and the ace is all that infinite energy. And in the reversal, unconsciously, it indicates something that maybe you're a little concerned about with, or might be a little bit of an issue that is something you're not necessarily aware of all that much. But it's that ability to maybe effectively express passionate, the passion, the drive, the desire to be creative, which includes relationships and love. And so it's saying there's a little worry there, a little nervousness. Don't worry about it because you've got this with the Queen. And this is a number card. The number cards are never too serious. They're very short-term problems. So the Queen definitely will be able to resolve whatever might be holding up. Maybe it's things that have been recently sort of holding you up. You've had trouble expressing your true creative, passionate energies, your desires, little problems. Maybe in the past, maybe this will just change all by itself. But certainly the abilities of the Queen can overcome any of this stuff. And then here, ooh, big card, big major arcana, the Moon. This is something the tarot here wants you to keep right up at the front of your mind that's coming up, something to look forward to, and keep this in your vision because it's coming. The Moon is a card of intense spiritual awareness, but also it's the sense of your unconscious drives kind of coming up, coming to the surface, coming out into the world, these mysterious urges, almost like suddenly able to write poetry. Love can do that to you. So future love, this could imply that there's going to be a really deep sense of something that it inspires in you, this future love, that brings out all these sort of dreamlike things that you've had sort of percolating under the surface, but they're there and they're powerful. And this future love, you will find it and it will bring these out. It'll be involved with this part of you very much. And to look out for these sort of dreamlike images that may have some direction for you to pay attention to, dream messages for you that involve your future love. Pay close attention to any of these things that come out. That's what this card is all about. That's what it's saying. And it's coming. It's coming up. Keep it Be on the lookout for these very poetic, mystical senses of things that happen. And you're like, oh my gosh, this could be it. Maybe this is that person. Oh my God, did somebody like suddenly open up a book of poetry and start reading it to me or something? Something along these lines is coming, and the tarot wants you to keep it in your mind. That's where you're going. And the Queen of Cups will be there in you always, able to master and handle all of this, no matter where it leads. And these worries underneath about expressing your desire, they will clear up like they were nothing. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Report back. Yeah, yep. Because future love could mean, Thursday. So, and this number card, remember, this is a number card. These are daily, day-to-day little forces that are quite easily changed by these more powerful cards, especially this one, the moon. The moon insists upon maintaining mystery. It can also imply that things get a little weird, because when these dream forces come up, even if they're very positive, creative developments in our lives, they can cause waves, and they can make us feel like, oh my God, where is this coming from? What the heck? Why do I feel that way all of a sudden? Why am I writing a poem? This is crazy. Who am I? That's what the moon card's about. And the moon card's saying, no, don't worry. Don't freak out about it. Don't freak out about it. This is your power coming. And pay attention to it and let it take its path, or put you on the path. Because there's enormous creative energy in the moon that you can tap. And of course, we're talking about creative wand over here. This moon totally overwhelms this minor difficulty over here. So yes, I expect a full report back so that we can put it into the tarot record for all of history to make sure that the tarot is fully accurate. So there, I hope you end up with a good report. Llama Pajamas is back. The Llama Pajamas. Well, the difficulty, Lil Possessed, the difficulty here is just it's just a relatively minor thing that you might not be aware of, that you haven't really thought about. That's why it's on the left. And it's simply your ability to sort of express desire, because it's the wands. That's the fire. That's the instinctive desire and passion. And anything that may have held you up recently or in the past with your ability to express desire and follow your passions. That's all that is. But it's completely handled and corrected by keeping in mind this great power of the moon and the great power in your personality of expressing your heart and all things emotional because of the Queen of Cups. So, Llama, you can just tell me what your subject matter is, and I will get a reading out of these cards. We're using the Crow Tarot deck this evening. Let me just check one little thing. Nice. Okay. into where there is room for growth in your current relationship. Let's see what we get. Very interesting. Where is there room for growth? Okay. The Judgment card is a major one, Lama. It's all about, can I look at myself and honestly say, I'm doing what I really ought to be doing? Am I actually where I'm supposed to be? Am I following my heart? Am I on my path? We're talking about a relationship. It could be, am I actually able to see that I'm in the right situation? Am I able to actually look at things realistically? The card's reversed. So there's something here that there's a difficulty here in perceiving ourselves, in judging whether or not we're in the right thing, judging whether or not we're taking the right approach. Doesn't necessarily mean whether we're in the right relationship. Am I able to look at the relationship and see my place in it, to see it realistically in order to figure out where it needs to move, what realistically is needed here? The Judgment card reversed, that it means that there's maybe some ongoing problems that are a little deep rooted here. And how can we pay attention and see what is going on in this relationship and what does that mean we need to do? What's the best path to take? It's hard to hear those little messages. It's hard to listen to our little inner voice about things. Because we get into habits with people. And the Judgment card is kind of involves your ability to get around those habits so that you can see more clearly what's actually happening. So if there's a problem with that, it's something that maybe the other cards have a little bit of advice. Okay, Wheel of Fortune reversed. Change. Making things move. You want to find where you need to grow in a relationship. The worry here that you're having without being aware of it in this unconscious left-hand position is, how can I make things change? How can I find something for us to do? Where do I need to grow? What path do we need to follow? The relationship, sometimes people say, it has to move somewhere. Things have to move. They have to evolve. That's what the Wheel of Fortune is about. Moving, changing of life, going to the next thing, going to the next phase in a relationship, not stagnating. You may feel stagnated. You may not be aware of all the reasons why you're stagnated. That's why this card is here, showing up. And then we come to a fire wands symbol, and it's a 7. The 7 number card means it's not going to take a whole lot of work. This is going to happen relatively quickly. But the 7 implies getting a higher viewpoint, rising, elevating yourself, putting effort in to gain a better understanding of things, getting a new point of view. But it basically means going higher, go toward a more profound understanding, a more spiritual awareness, if you will. And it's about applying your passions, your desire in this relationship, but using them for profound benefit, moving everything higher by not considering your passions to be, to be less than, to make them very, very important and give them all the respect they deserve. That's what the 7 is. Get a higher understanding of where your real passion for this relationship goes. The fire sign wants you to focus on desire. The wands want you to focus on desire and understand that this is a very important aspect of a relationship. And this can be done relatively easily. That's why it's a number card. So whatever is giving you trouble in seeing what's going on and where to grow, whatever is making you worried about being able to move things forward, the tarot is hinting that it involves following your instincts, your passion for this relationship. Honor it. It needs to be given more respect. In other words, thinking your way through it isn't going to work. It's not a problem of your heart. It's not a physical, financial problem. It's something to do with your creative approach, your desire. It wants you to look at that and find where you can give yourself a kick to move yourself. Probably the key is closer to the person you have the desire for, whoever that may be. Good. Yeah. That's a complex reading, actually. That's one of the more subtle, ambiguous readings of the evening. Oh, you're welcome, Lama. Absolutely. All right, I think I'm going to, I have to, yes, it's 10 o'clock my time. This has been a very nice evening of readings there's been a couple very blunt, straightforward readings with really slam home run messages that were crystal clear. And then there's been other readings that have been very subtle, very sort of very delicate little hints in the readings it's always interesting how the tarot's range spectrum goes from very straightforward and obvious to incredibly subtle. Oh, okay. Chocolate cream pie and lemon meringue. Oh my God, lemon meringue pie is so good. Oh my God, I used to eat lemon meringue pie every restaurant I went to. If they had lemon meringue pie, I would get it every single time. Yeah. I usually like most things with lemon. Anything lemon with dessert, you know, really good. And that's making me hungry. It's 10 o'clock. So now I'm probably going to go and try and find something to eat. I'm going to go and actually eat at 10, only because of what you said about lemon meringue pie. I like lime stuff too. I like all that stuff. Anything citrusy, I love. Yeah, really nice night of readings. It's great when, get some really. I've really enjoyed using the Crow deck tonight. I love changing it every once in a while. This is a really beautiful deck. I haven't used it enough. You know, I've got to give it a little bit more time. You know, post stream self care. Instead of calling it snacking, this is the new phrase. This is what it will be. All right. I'm going to wind down now, and thank you everyone for coming in here. And again, I'm going to do you have a lovely night as well. And I'll try to do, well, I'm going to do Wednesday. It's on my schedule. So Wednesday at 7 Pacific time, I'll do this again. And I'm probably going to be inclined to throw some more in. In fact, it's possible I'll do tomorrow. I'm not sure yet what my schedule is tomorrow, but I want to do an extra one. So whatever. So if you're in the U.S., happy 4th of July. And if not, happy upcoming Tuesday. Have a wonderful night, everybody. And I'll see you again. It's a pleasure seeing everybody come back in. And enjoy and have an excellent rest of the week.